Welcome to the Balanced Blood Sugar Podcast, where we focus on everyday wellness for everyone. I'm Adrienne Wheat, a registered nurse, here to share tips, habits, and lifestyle shifts that can help you feel your best by stabilizing blood sugar and improving your overall health. Everything we discuss is designed for general health and routine education because everyone deserves to feel empowered with the right information. But I'm not your personal nurse, so make sure to check with your healthcare provider before making any changes. Let's dive into today's episode. Hi there. Welcome back to the Balanced Blood Sugar Podcast. I'm Adrienne Wheat, your favorite nurse friend who's here to help you feel your best, ditch the energy crashes, and build a lifestyle that works for you and not against you. If you're new here, just know that this is a judgment-free zone where we talk about making simple, realistic choices that support balanced blood sugar levels. No perfection required. And since it's wintertime in the USA and the Northern Hemisphere, today we're talking about seasonal winter foods that can help keep blood sugar steady. Because let's be real, winter is the prime time for sugar bombs like holiday cookies and hot cocoa with extra marshmallows. Choco Zero has some really good sugar-free marshmallows, by the way. But what if I told you that winter actually brings some powerhouse foods that can help you stay full, satisfied, and energized? So grab your cozy drink of choice and let's dive in. All right, before we get into let's talk about why seasonal eating is so good for your body. Seasonal eating means that the majority of the foods you're going to eat have nutrient density at its peak. When foods are in season, they're fresher and packed with more nutrients, and freshly picked winter squash has way more to offer than one that's been sitting in cold storage for months. The same goes for other veggies and fruits that may have to have been imported from other parts of the world. It's also better for digestion and energy. Seasonal foods naturally align with what our bodies need in a particular season. In winter, we tend to crave warming, grounding foods. Think roasted root veggies and hearty soups, and many of which are made with seasonal winter foods. These foods tend to be higher in fiber and healthy fats, which means slower digestion and steadier energy. Read that as no mid-afternoon crashes. And finally, seasonal foods tend to be more budget-friendly and more flavorful. Eating in-season produce means you're buying what's abundant. Therefore, it's often cheaper and tastier, which is a win-win. Okay, now we know why seasonal eating is awesome. Let's talk about the best winter foods for stable blood sugar. Winter brings some seriously underrated blood sugar-friendly foods. So let's break down some of my favorites and why they deserve a spot on your plate. Now remember, while some of them may seem higher carb, pairing them with protein and fat can lead to less carb load and an overall stable blood sugar. And even the higher carb ones also tend to be high in fiber, which can help decrease that carb load as well. So first up, root vegetables like carrots, beets, turnips, rutabagas, and parsnips. These are great because they are packed with fiber, vitamins, and slow digesting carbs. How to use them? You can roast them in olive oil, mash them like potatoes, or throw them into soups and stews. Carrots can be a little higher carb than others, so make sure that you throw those in with some good proteins and fats, like a dip of some kind. Then we have winter squash, like butternut, acorn, spaghetti squash. These are great because they're lower in carbs than traditional potatoes, but they're still filling. And they can give you that mashed potato feeling as a side dish. And they're also really high in beta-carotene and fiber. You can cut squash in half, remove the seeds, and roast it. And then you can fill it up with cinnamon butter and like brown monk fruit sugar substitute. And then it's like a low-carb roasted sweet potato. Or you can use spaghetti squash as a pasta swap. After spaghetti squash is roasted, you can drag a fork across the inside half, and the fibers just come apart like spaghetti. Hence its name. Those are some of our favorite ways to eat winter squash, but we just love having that in the winter. There's also cruciferous vegetables, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, cauliflower, broccoli. These are full of fiber antioxidants, and compounds that support healthy metabolism. They're also great for supporting natural detoxing, which can help reduce systemic inflammation. So how to use them? With veggies, I tend to be really simple. You can either saute or steam them with spices like garlic or just simply salt and pepper. You can make roasted cabbage steaks. That's one of my mom's favorites. Or you can blend cauliflower into mashed potatoes or buy cauliflower, like you could do like riced cauliflower. Or you can simply chop them up, throw them on a pan, drizzle them with olive oil and spices, and roast them. And that is by far our family's favorite. It's simple for me to prep, and everyone loves eating roasted veggies. Another option is citrus fruits like oranges, grapefruits, lemons, and limes. These are high in vitamin C and fiber, but they're not as high as strawberries. But since strawberries are a summer fruit, these are a pretty good winter alternative. These are winter's versions. And the acidity can also help lower the glycemic impact of meals when eaten with other foods. So you can add lemon juice to water that can help support your digestion and detox in the morning. You can make a citrus vinaigrette for salads and even enjoy a small serving of grapefruit with breakfast. Just make sure to pair the sweeter citrus with meals so you're not getting a shot of orange juice all by itself. Next, we'll talk about healthy fats like our nuts, seeds, avocados, olive oil, coconut oil. These are pretty much in season most of the time. Avocados do tend to be cheaper around this time of year for us, but these fats in general are a necessity worth mentioning. Fats help slow digestion and prevent blood sugar spikes, especially when paired with the higher carb options. So you can add nuts to yogurt, or snack on them with cheese and fruit slices, or you can cook with olive oil or use it as a salad dressing. And finally, we have bone broth and quality proteins. Bone broth is a powerhouse. It is full of minerals and amino acids that support gut health and immune function, while quality proteins help keep blood sugar steady. The main difference between bone broth and regular broth is the cooking method and the time. Bone broth is a much longer process, which extracts more nutrients from bones, not just flavor. So the final product has more protein and nutrients compared to normal broth or stock. We love using bone broth in the winter. You can use it as a warm drink by itself, or you can use it as a base for soups and stews. We love to always have some in our pantry any time of the year, but definitely during the winter. Okay, now that we've got our winter pantry stocked in our brains, let's talk about how to turn these ingredients into actual meals. Here's some simple winter meal ideas. I know that meal planning can feel overwhelming, so let me give you just some quick and easy winter meal ideas that can keep you full and energized. Let's talk about a simple breakfast. Scrambled eggs or boiled eggs with sauteed kale and avocado. When we saute kale is kind of a hard one. Kale can be kind of bitter, but if you really massage it with olive oil and lemon juice and salt and pepper, if you massage it really well, it knocks out that bitterness, and it's actually really tasty. We like to make kale chips even. You saute them you rub them with the olive oil and you do all the massage on them, and then you just lay them on a pan and toss them in the oven. And oh my gosh, they are so tasty. But for breakfast, I digress. For breakfast, you can have scrambled eggs with some kale or spinach with avocado. You may have a side of roasted sweet potato or squash even, and maybe some herbal tea or lemon water. Like I said, warm can actually help with digestion. So trying to keep your warm levels of your stomach up can really help continue the digestive process. For lunches and dinners, you can have cozy soups or stew. You can slow cook beef or chicken with some bone broth and carrots, celery, and parsnips. You could throw on a side of roasted Brussels sprouts or cabbage. We love to make roast with carrots and radishes. Radishes actually make a very good potato substitute when it comes to pot roast and slow cooked things. So keep radishes in your back pocket. A blood sugar friendly snack. We do a lot of bell peppers, sliced cucumbers, olives. These are pretty common snacks in our home. A handful of nuts like almonds, walnuts, or cashews, and pairing it with something like hummus or guacamole for dipping veggie sticks or carrots, especially because carrots can be a little higher carb. Just having anything like that on hand for snacks. We usually immediately wash our fruits and veggies when we come home, and I slice it all up and put it in the fridge so it's there, it's ready for anybody to get if they want. A one-pan winter dinner. This one is probably my greatest, most favorite meal, and it is so easy. It's a hack we use all throughout the year. You literally take a sheet pan with salmon or some protein that you find on sale. You put it on the pan, and then you surround it with Brussels sprouts or butternut squash or zucchini or other types of vegetables. Grab the ones in season, whatever's cheapest at the time, and just throw it around the meat. Douse it all in olive oil and spices how you want it, and then just toss it in the oven. That's it. That's all it takes. And then about 45 minutes to an hour, you have dinner. And it's a one-pan meal. Done. Easy peasy. We also love to swap out some of our comfort foods for low-carb options. Like I've talked, in our kitchen pantry staple episode, we talked about how we like to have hearts of palm on hand and shirataki noodles, some low carb noodles. But in the winter, spaghetti squash is super helpful because you can just roast up a spaghetti squash, and then you can have, peel out its little fibers on the inside and throw some meatballs and low carb spaghetti sauce on it, and you got yourself a whole meal. You can throw in a side salad with a homemade vinaigrette. If you've never made vinaigrette, those things are so easy. Any type of homemade dressing, usually so easy. Olive oil, spices, a little bit of citrus juice, done. Or balsamic, you can throw that in there. But now that you have some tasty ideas, you can hit the grocery store. Eating in a way that supports steady energy doesn't have to be boring or complicated. You can just stick with simple, whole ingredients and just let the flavors shine. As you start cooking with whole foods, just throwing on some salt and pepper, garlic powder and onion powder are pretty common in our house, or the mesquite barbecue flavors or whatever. Watch out for maltodextrin in your spices. But other than that, most of the time, these foods just taste great on their own. We don't do much more than salt and pepper. But anyway, friends, that's all I wanted to bring to you today as we trudge on through the winter. I want to challenge you. Try adding just one or two seasonal foods into your meals this week. Maybe swap your potatoes or spaghetti for some roasted squash, or toss some citrus into your salad. Remember, this isn't about restriction. It's about nourishment. The more we fuel our bodies with real whole foods, the better we feel. The more energy, the fewer cravings, and no more riding the sugar roller coaster. And that's it for today, friends. If you love this episode, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It really does help so much. And if you want some more tips or recipes, be sure to grab our Get Started guide in the show notes if you haven't already. So until next time, stay warm, stay nourished, and stay balanced. And I'll see you soon.